And after Tayshia breaks up with him, Riley is like, why did you keep me around for so long? And I'm just like, dude, why are you asking that? Like, this is a game show. She had to keep someone around. Hi everyone, my name's Dimitri and welcome back to DimitriTube. Bachelorette Night 10 and Night 11. Let's talk about it. Now before we get started, I have to give you guys some fantastic news. My channel has reached 100 subscribers. My channel is growing and it continues to grow, and I am so happy and so thankful to all of you who supported my channel. I really appreciate it, and the support from you all means a lot to me. Now I'm just gonna keep working hard, pushing forward, bringing you all new content, and hopefully I can reach my next goal of getting 1,000 subscribers. So as always, please pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. I'm trying to grow my channel and it really does help me out. Also, just 2 more housekeeping items before we get started. So for this video, I changed the angle of the camera. The camera used to be at a lower angle, but now it's like more direct. So just let me know below in the comments whether you like this angle or not. Second thing, we have to talk about Ben's Instagram account, y'all. Now, before we start talking about the episodes, I really just wanted to mention this real quick. So on a previous episode of this season, Ben mentioned that he had broken his back, and that's part of the reason why he had to get out of the army. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know that I'm like a little bit of a gym rat. I enjoy going to the gym. I like lifting weights. I've been doing this for years now. And if you're new to the gym or interested in getting back into the gym, I actually made a video where I can show you how to get started. It should link up here. Oh wait, or maybe here. It's gonna pop up somewhere on the page. Now, if you go to Ben's Instagram page, you will see videos of him doing very heavy squats and very heavy power cleans. Now, if you're not familiar with the gym, those are very dangerous exercises to be doing if you've previously like broken your back. And especially coming from a guy who said on the show that he had trouble walking up the stairs because of his broken back, every time I watch videos of him doing that, in my head, I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? You're gonna mess up your back again. Okay, that's it for housekeeping. Now let's dive into this week's episodes. And happy snow day to a lot of people on the East Coast right now. I'm in Northern Virginia right now, and it is currently snowing. Off the bat, episode 10 was terrible. And it was also very predictable, but episode 11 made up for it. Okay, so I'm gonna go over what happened in episode 10 in literally less than a minute. Let's see if I can do it. First, Blake and Tayshia go on a date that is way too intimate for 2 people who barely know one another. Tayshia breaks up with Blake. Then she goes back to the rest of the guys. She cries and then says she doesn't want to hurt anyone. And then right after, she breaks up with Riley. And you could tell Riley was caught completely off guard because he did not have a suitcase and he was wearing his Walmart sweatpants. Then we have the rose ceremony and Tayshia sends home Bennett and Noah. Then they go into the men tell all, which sucks. Kenny, the boy band manager, is wearing a really ugly camo jacket. By the way, friends do not let friends wear things like this. And Blake got a in front of the Reiki/Crystal Master. And yes, yet again, ABC, you need to clean it up. This is supposed to be family friendly. And last but not least, Yosef, who I completely forgot was on the show, has not changed as a person. He is the same guy we saw since his fight with Claire. And he has no remorse about it. Did I do it? Was that less than a minute? Now, there's not really a lot to talk about with this episode, but I do want to touch on a few things. This episode was very predictable. So this is my 4th season watching the Bachelor franchise. I started with Colton season. And when it comes to the men tell-alls and the women tell-alls, to me, they're just not good. Now, if ABC wants to make these tell-alls better, they really should do them after the finale, not before the final 4. Because every season I've seen so far, the final 4 tend to be the majority of the storyline, so not having them there's just not much to talk about. Also, sidebar, this is related, but it's also kind of unrelated. So if you watch other reality television, right now, the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion is airing, and part 1 of their reunion came on Sunday night, and the men tell all came on Monday night. I'm really into Potomac right now, and the episode that came on, it was so good. And not only that, but it was probably one of the best episodes on a reunion of all time. So to go from watching that reunion to the Men Tell All, it just made the Men Tell All look like child's play. Anyway, I want to talk about Riley and Blake real quick before we move on to episode 11. So it was clear during the season that Tayshia and Blake just were not going to happen. But during the Men Tell All, they choose to do a recap of Blake and Tayshia's relationship. And when they started showing it, I was like, no one cares. Like, why are you guys showing us this? And that was pretty much the whole Men Tell All. They just kept diving into topics that like we just really didn't care about. Part of the reason is because of COVID, they couldn't have all the guys there. Now, I thought having Ed, Jason, Yosef, and Kenny there was pointless. In the comments below, I'll put who I think should have been there and why, and then you can comment below, let me know whether or not you agree. But I'm just not gonna go into it in the video because it's just gonna take way too long. Now let's talk about Riley. So when Tayshia was breaking up with Riley, he looked so good in that scene. Like, literally the lighting was perfect for him. And after Tayshia breaks up with him, Riley is like, why did you keep me around for so long? And I'm just like, dude, why are you asking that? Like, this is a game show. She had to keep someone around. But I will say, I think Tayshia should have kept Riley and gotten rid of Ivan. Hear me out. Y'all, I know the internet loves Ivan, but he's not gonna win. Like, there's no connection. And I just feel like Riley would handle a breakup better than Ivan would. But Tayshia is just keeping Ivan longer and longer in this process, which I think is just gonna make the breakup worse. So episode 11 starts and Chris Harrison meets up with the guys and tells them that we're going to be doing hometowns at La Quinta Resort and Spa. I talked about this on the last review. I'll link it above. Ben is flamboyant and we could not ignore this anymore. When Chris Harrison came to talk to them about hometowns, he was wearing rainbow socks. Now, I am not questioning Ben's sexuality, but I'm letting you guys know that he is very flamboyant, and there's another instance of this later on the episode, and I'll make sure to mention it just in case you guys didn't catch it. Chris Harrison tells Brendan that his brother and his wife will be joining them, and after that, Brendan gets emotional and starts crying and saying how much of an influence his brother has been for him. And Ben responds and says he doesn't know how to cry. He says, I don't know how to do that emotion. Now, please let me know what you all thought of this in the comments. To me, it was almost like Ben was trying to take Brendan's moment. And I really just feel like this was something Ben should have said in a confessional. In my head, I was just thinking, why now? Like, why that moment to say that? So it's possible that the producers were giving them the cue like, oh, now is the time to get emotional, and Ben couldn't do it, and he was just revealing why he couldn't. But I don't know, I did not love this moment for him. But anywho, we go into the first one-on-one with Tayshia and Brendan, and this was by far my favorite date of the night. Now, for this date, they have a carnival day, and they play in a bouncy house, they ride fake ponies, they play a few carnival games, and Brendan's niece tags along. Also, it is a very hot day in Palm Springs because Brendan is sweating along with all the rest of the guys on their dates. And y'all, I don't know what it is about Brendan, but he is so sweet. Like, literally, he'll be on camera for less than 5 minutes and I'll be tearing up because he's pulling my heartstrings. And on this date, we got to see a lot more of Brendan's personality that we didn't get to see before. He can dance, he's great with kids, and he's just super fun to be around. And watching him interact with his niece and Tayshia was just such a breath of fresh air to watch. And then we go into the night portion of the date where Tayshia gets a chance to meet the family. Now, there's just one weird thing about these hometowns that I do have to mention. So for Brendan, Tayshia got to meet Brendan's brother. And then for Ben's hometown, Tayshia gets to meet Ben's sister and a family friend. And honestly, I felt like that was kind of unfair. I feel like meeting a sibling is way different from meeting a parent. I just feel like impressing a parent is a way different caliber than impressing a sibling. And the only exception I could see is if you have a sibling that's like 10 to 15 years older than you and they helped raise you, I can kind of see it being on the same caliber, but even then, I still don't think it's quite the same. But anywho, back to Brendan. Another thing about Brendan is that, so they said his father passed away, but I don't remember hearing an explanation for his mother. Did I miss it? Please, somebody let me know below in the comments. Like, I don't think they ever mentioned what happened. So overall, Tayshia got along really well with Brendan's family. There's only a couple things I want to talk about. So when Brendan's brother's wife started talking to Tayshia, she just jumped straight into it. She was like, oh, were you married young? How long were you married? And I was like, whoa, like, can we ease into it? But it's possible that that's just the way the producers edited it. That she may have not dived in that quickly. And we don't know how much time they had to, in fact, actually talk. And one thing that Tayshia says is, Brendan and I really bonded over our divorce. And when Tayshia said that, I completely understand where she's coming from, and I know she didn't mean any harm by it, but it just sounded bad. Like, it just sounded like, yeah, me and Brendan bonded over our misery. Last thing, Brendan really wants a kid and a family. Like, I think he may have baby fever harder than Tayshia does. Now we're going into a one-on-one with Zac C. Am I the only one who still says Zac C? Do y'all just say Zac now, since there's only one Zac? Now, for their date, they get this, like, fake papier-mâché cab, and they take it around different parts of the resort, and they have bagels, they have pizza, they sit in front of scenery that kind of looks like New York. This was a cute date, I guess. And it is hot. At one point, Zac is drenched in sweat. And in my head, I'm thinking, why did you wear a black polo? We all know black absorbs heat. So then we go into the night portion of the date. And yet, this is the outfit of the episode. Tayshia is wearing this really cute black top with matching capri pants and really cute heels. Like, this is the outfit. The only thing is, though, this may have been a little too sexy to meet the parents, but whatever, she took a risk. Links to Tayshia's outfits below in the description. Now, again, overall, Tayshia got along really well with the Clarks, but there are a couple things I want to mention. Zac's brother pulls Tayshia aside and he says, "Where are you at with Zac in comparison to where you're at with the other three?" And then Tayshia responds, "I'm definitely falling in love with Zac, and I can see myself marrying him at the end of this." And then he responds, "You didn't answer my question." And at this point, the mood changes, the background music changes, like ABC is clearly trying to make this more dramatic. And keep in mind, y'all, Tayshia cannot flat out answer this question because that would spoil the show, and her brother has to know that. And then they pan to a confessional with Zac's dad, and Zac's dad says, "His smile has changed. No question in my mind that he's smitten." And I thought this was so cute and so adorable. Like, Zac's dad is seeing what we're all seeing on TV, that Zac is sprung over Tayshia. Like, it's clear. And then after that, Zac is talking with his mom, and he tells her that he's been in denial about wanting kids and a family, but Tayshia helped him realize that's what he wants, and he's not afraid to say it anymore. And then you see Tayshia with Zac's mom, and they get along well. At one point, they cheers, and Zac's mom says, "Cheers to you finding love and to Zac finding love." And this was just such a sweet moment. I could totally see Tayshia and Zac's mom having a wind down Wednesday. And then after talking with the parents, Tayshia and Zac leave and have a one-on-one. Y'all, the body language is undeniable. They are so into each other. It's crazy. Y'all cannot tell me you don't see the chemistry in their body language. And then we go to a confessional, and Tayshia says, "Zac is incredible. It feels right. It feels good. I have zero hesitations about it. Zac and I are good." And when she said that, her voice changed and her entire mood changed as well. Like, she is really feeling Zac. Now we have a one-on-one with Ivan. So for their date, they have a cooking date, and they make some lumpia, and they get some help from Ivan's niece, who shows up on a screen virtually. This was an adorable date, definitely my second favorite date. Later on, they go to the night portion of the date, and Tayshia gets to meet Ivan's mom and dad. Now, Ivan's dad is 70 years old and has a history of health problems, but his dad didn't care. He's like, "I'm gonna risk it because I want to see my son happy," and I loved that. Ivan's dad asks Tayshia, "Do you think it could happen with you and Ivan?" And Tayshia responds, "Absolutely." And y'all, I just was not convinced. Not one bit. Ivan's mom is a total sweetheart. She's like a 4'10", super nice Filipino woman. At one point, Ivan and her are talking, and she says, "I'm still a skeptic through all of this, but regardless of the way I feel, I trust in you." That's the bottom line. Really, the very bottom line. Doesn't matter how I feel, it's what you feel. If you're happy, that makes me happy. Ugh, y'all, that was just so sweet. Like, his mom is such a sweetheart. And then we get a surprise from Ivan's brother, who we didn't even think would make it. So y'all, Ivan's brother enters, and he is a thug. He got the long hair, the tattoos, and he's wearing this watch that completely blinds me. Like, it is blinging so hard. And I don't know if y'all caught this, but Ivan's brother also has face tats. And not just face tats, he has 2 teardrops right here. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with tattoos, but that normally means he killed someone. And he has not 1, but 2 teardrops. So that means he killed 2 people. all. Now, initially I was shocked, but I loved seeing this because typically if we see Black men on this show, they're usually very proper or very preppy. It is rare that we see like more hood, thuggish type of guys on this show. And it's clear that Ivan's brother Gabriel was more likely the black sheep of the family, because if you look at Ivan's dad, his mom, and Ivan, they're all very proper and very clean cut, and then you have his brother. And when you compare Ivan and his brother, it's literally night and day personalities. And Ivan's mom says that they're still a family and they still all love one another, and it was just such a treat to see that. It was just so refreshing for me. Ivan's brother at one point even says he looks at my daughter like she's his daughter, and I loved that. That was just so sweet. Now we're going into the one-on-one with Ben. So at the start of the date, Ben says he was born and raised in Indiana, but he feels like home is where you feel like most yourself. So he replicated the date to be like Venice Beach, California. And is it just me, or did anyone else find that a little suspect? So for the day portion of the date, they go rollerblading, they hit a juice shop, they hit a boardwalk shop, they go to the pool, but they pretend like it's a beach. To me, this was the worst date. Now, during the daytime portion of the date, Ben says that his parents couldn't make it because his dad is a doctor. Now, let's just unpack this a little bit. So Ben only mentions his dad. He doesn't say why his mom couldn't make it. And also, do y'all remember Joe, the anesthesiologist? He's from New York City, one of the epicenters, and he was able to take a month off and go film for The Bachelorette. So your dad, who's a doctor in Indiana, couldn't come see you? Also, this was filmed in late July, early August, so I don't think the numbers have been spiking again yet. To be honest, this really just was not enough of an explanation for me. Like, why couldn't your mom be there? Like, I just really wanted more. I just feel like if Ben made it clear to his parents that this is very important to him and having his parents there would mean a lot, even if they couldn't attend, I feel like there would have been more of an explanation. And Ben never mentioned really any bad blood between him and his parents. He just says that they were never close. So I'm getting more of a vibe that Ben's parents don't necessarily support him being on this show. But anywho, we get to meet Ben's sister Madeline and his family friend Antonia. Also, his family friend Antonia is apparently from the show Top Chef. I don't watch the show, but a lot of people on Twitter called out this crossover. And I definitely looked up how they know each other. According to the internet, Antonia trains at Ben's gym and they've been friends for years. And I'm touching back on this again. Remember when I said Ben was very flamboyant? We'll watch this clip real quick.
So, Madeline, Antonia, Ben, Tayshia.
So nice to meet you.
Guys,
So nice
I got a
to meet you.
girlfriend.
Like, hi.
Y'all, that intro that Ben gave was just so flamboyant. I literally cannot ignore these things he does anymore. Okay, first and foremost, Ben is wearing that like wide neck t-shirt again. Ugh, just throw it away. But not all the fashion was bad. Tayshia is wearing these like leather or like faux leather pants, and they look good. I definitely had to give those pants an honorable mention on today's episode. If I can find them, I'll post the link below. So there's only two things I want to mention here. So when Tayshia is talking to Ben's sister Madeline, Madeline says that Ben is not hiding anything. He's just very sensitive. She is selling Ben to Tayshia, and I don't think this is a bad thing. It's just interesting because like all the other families were recognizing the connection with Tayshia and whether she's ready, whether they're a good match. This one was just a different approach, and I thought it was interesting to watch. So they wrap up with the families. Ben and Tayshia have a one-on-one, and Ben wants to tell Tayshia he loves her, but he doesn't do it. In the confessional, Ben says, "In true Ben fashion, I just blew it. I'm in love with her, and I should have told her, and now I'm terrified I won't get a rose this week, and I won't get to tell her how I feel. And that kills me inside." Now, y'all may not like what I'm saying, I guess because I just keep dragging Ben, but I really didn't like how he framed this. He was like, I didn't tell Tayshia I loved her, so now I'm not gonna get a rose. Ben really should have said, I didn't get to tell Tayshia I loved her, and now I may never get a chance to tell her how I really feel, and just leave it at that. But Ben said, I didn't tell her, and now I'm terrified I'm not gonna get a rose. And it just made me feel like he doesn't love her. He just loves the game and wants to just win. Now we're on to the rose ceremony, and thank God we got one because I almost thought there would not be enough time. So, did y'all like this dress Tayshia was wearing? So, I didn't love the dress, but I really liked the color of the dress. But anywho, Tayshia sends Ben home, and honestly, it was clear she was gonna send either Ben or Ivan home. And after Tayshia sends Ben home, Tayshia gets upset because he doesn't show any emotion. Tayshia says, "No emotion. It made me feel empty. It's like these past few weeks meant nothing." Now, I'm on Team Ben for this one. I don't think Tayshia should have been upset at this. I think Ben was still in a state of shock and just had not processed his emotions yet. And me personally, if you break up with me like this, I'm not going to show emotion in front of you. I'm going to go into the Uber XL and then I'm going to go cry there. Like, I would not show emotion in front of you. And I think a lot of guys would have handled it that way as well. So then Ben rides away and he regrets not telling Tayshia he loves her. He's sad, but he can't cry because earlier in the episode, he said he does not know how to do that emotion. And I was pretty bummed about that because y'all know I love when they cry in the Uber XLs. Like, that's how you know it's real. And it's one of my favorite parts of the show. And that is the end of the episode and all I have for you all today. If you enjoyed this review, please pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. I'm really trying to grow my YouTube channel and the likes and subscribes really do help me out. And I will see you all again next week. Also, there are 2 episodes next week, one on Monday, one on Tuesday. I'm only going to do one review. I plan on just doing one big one and dropping it on Wednesday. Have a good one. Bye.